Hi, and welcome to this live reading from The Thieves by Susan Specht Oram, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Amateur Hour. Bets was driving when a flash of light coming from a sprawling one-story building on the outskirts of town struck her as odd. She pulled over and killed the lights. "Why'd you stop?" Zerk said. "We're going to the apartment, watching a movie." The car smelled like burgers, fish, and French fries. "We may need to change plans," she pointed. "There's a good chance a robbery's going on over there. Take a look and tell me what you think." Zerk pulled his double patty bacon cheeseburger from a Roy's Best Burgers white sack. He took a bite and hunched over, training his eyes on the commercial laundry. Bets grabbed her fish sandwich and chomped down. Skin on her arms prickled with goosebumps. This could be the big one and could change their lives. A young woman in her early 30s and a man about the same age hauled trash bags out a side door. They threw them in the back of a car and glanced around before ducking back inside. If anyone had ever looked guilty, it was these two. "See what you mean," Zerk said. "Amateur hour. Obvious as heck." She chuckled. "Might as well put up a sign saying, 'Robbery in progress.'" She rummaged in a bag. "Did you get extra tartar sauce like I asked?" Mimi, their little white dog, sniffed the air and yipped. "Sorry, hon, I forgot. Next time I'll remember." She nodded, but knew better. Her husband was a sweet talker, but following through wasn't his greatest strength. "We'd better check out what's in that car. Are you thinking what I am? Use the usual approach?" He licked his fingers. "We'll slap the beacon strobe light you bought me for my birthday on the rooftop and pull them over, impersonate police officers, and take the loot. Whatever's in that car, I'm pretty sure it's not dirty laundry, but it could be laundered money." He rubbed his hands together. She smiled. "Points to me for packing to-go bags in the car. You're always ready for a robbery." He patted her shoulder. She punched the air. "We'll seize the opportunity. If the hall's big enough, we'll leave our old life behind and never go back to the dumpy apartment." "There they are now," she said in a hushed voice. The young couple came out of the building, glanced around, and hopped in a car. Bets dropped her fish sandwich in the sack and started the engine. "Watch out, kids. Here we come." Chapter 1. Jazz. Jasmine Bucker and Phil Reisner threw trash bags in the back of Phil's Toyota hatchback and hopped in the car. Her heart thumped. They'd just stolen more than $500,000 from the commercial laundry on the outskirts of Las Vegas, where she worked as an accountant. It was 10 at night, when her boss always played poker in the back of a pool hall. Phil went the speed limit, heading out of town on a 2-lane blacktop road. Jazz smiled. Part of the money would pay for her father's life-saving treatment. "We did it," she said. Ripping off her disposable gloves, she tossed them out the window. Their first and last robbery was over, signed and sealed, a success. Check that off the to-do list. A car came up behind them. A red and blue roof light came on. A siren went off. A woman's amplified voice said, "Pull over. I repeat, pull over." "All I did was throw out my gloves," Jazz said with a shrug. Phil kept his eyes on the road, driving with his hands at 10 and 2 o'clock as though he was in a driver's education class and hadn't heard the order. "This is the police. Pull over immediately." A dog barked in the background. Jazz wiped her brow. "We can't be stopped, not with the money in the bag." "If we get arrested, you owe me," he said in a shaky voice. "I'm sorry I dragged you into this." Phil put on his blinker and pulled off to the side of the road. "I wanted to help your dad," he said, reaching for her hand. "We'll get through this." Squeezing his warm fingers, Jazz regretted dragging her friend into this. She counted to 50 and repeated the exercise. A woman and a man stepped out of a car and strode over. They wore black suits and mirrored sunglasses. The woman knocked on the driver's side window. "Open your windows and hand that man your identification." The man knocked on the window glass. "Ma'am, will you roll this down? We need to talk with you." She let go of Phil's hand and rolled down the window. "Your IDs?" the man said, adjusting his mirrored sunglasses. Jazz eyed the dragon tattoo high on his neck, peeking out from under a black turtleneck. She could make out the eyes, head, and claws. The turtleneck didn't seem like something an officer would wear. Maybe they were undercover cops in an unmarked vehicle. She handed him her driver's license. "You too." The woman had blonde bobbed hair with bangs. It looked like a wig. On the right side of her nose was a black mole. Phil passed his driver's license to Jazz to give to the dark-haired man. While my partner runs those through the system, the woman said, I need you to open the back of the car. Jazz cringed. They couldn't open the trunk. If they did, they'd be found out. Why aren't you wearing uniforms? Jazz said. And where are your badges? We're not opening the back unless you show us identification. Good call, Phil said in a low voice. The blonde officer said, Get out of the car and put your hands over your heads. Phil said, We've done nothing wrong. We saw you litter. We'll issue a ticket, but we need to see what's in the trunk. Beads of sweat glistened on Phil's forehead. I can't. The latch is broken. The woman cocked her head. If we have to, we'll break the back window to get in. We were given orders to inspect this vehicle. What if we offered you money to let us go? Jazz said. We'll drive away and never mention this to anyone. She bent to pick up her purse. Drop it, the blonde said. Get out of the car now, hands in the air. Jazz looked at her good friend. She'd talked him into this scheme. She told him after paying for her father's medical care, they'd have enough money left over to drop out of the 24/7 work that wore them down. A gun hammer cocked. Jazz gasped. The woman said, I repeat, get out of the car. Hands up and lean against the car. Jazz said, We'd better do what she says. She got out on shaky legs. When they put their hands in the air, a dog barked. She turned her head. A little white dog was in the front passenger seat of the unmarked police car. Cops didn't drive around with little dogs. She tried to make out the license plate. Nevada. ZRK something. The man handcuffed her wrists in front of her. She smelled garlic on his breath. Garlic for dinner? She said. He tilted his head. Szechuan chicken for lunch. Good nose. The woman handcuffed Phil with his hands in back. Then against the side of the car, the man said, while we inspect your vehicle, pop the trunk, Betts. The woman went around back. When she pushed a button, the trunk lid went up. Jazz bit her lip. What do we have here? The blonde said. Black plastic bags. She opened one. Sweetie, we hit the jackpot. These are filled with cash. She lifted one. We better take them for inspection at the station, don't you think, sir? That's private property, Jazz said. You can't do that. Betts smiled. Not anymore. We're taking these off your hands. Phil said, Leave us alone and we'll pay you. Zirk shook his head. No deals. You made the mistake of being amateurs. Jazz shivered in the cool desert night air. Her father was counting on getting the money soon. She'd promised him. While Betts trained a gun on them, her partner picked up a bag and took it to their car. Jazz said, Please, just take one bag. Leave the rest for us. What's in those bags is important to my family. Zirk carried the rest of the bags to his car, ignoring her pleas. Got it all, Betts said. Did you check behind the front seats? Yep, you bet, honey bun. The man opened the hood and yanked out a part. Got the distributor. That'll take a while to fix. Got their cell phones and let's go. Betts plucked a cell from Phil's pocket. Leaning in the car, she took a phone from Jazz's purse. I have both cell phones. When her knees went weak, Jazz leaned against the car for support. She'd planned an easy caper for 2 first-time criminals, but the risks of getting caught were greater than she'd estimated. She'd failed her father. Take the cuffs off and let's go, Zirk said, heading to the sedan. Betts laughed. Let's leave them as they are. They'll never find us. As the two drove off, the horn honked, making Jazz jump. Betts cackled. Have fun, you two. Next time, leave it to the professionals. Car raced down the road. Phil said, What just happened? Jazz shuddered. The robbers got robbed. My boss will figure out I stole his money because I had the combination to the safe, and I won't be at work tomorrow. We need to find those two and get it back. My dad will die if I don't help him. She yanked on the handcuffs but couldn't get them off. I'll track them down. That's the last thing I do.